Man, we had some exciting stuff happen this weekend. And first off, I want to talk about Kimi Antonelli's insane pole sprint. Kimi Antonelli's insane pole in the sprint qualifying. It was electric, taking his first career pole position across any format, becoming the youngest driver ever to land a pole position. He beat out Oscar Piastri by 400 thousandths, or excuse me, hundredths of a second. Max Verstappen by a tenth of a second at just 18 years old. He's exceeding expectations so far. I know that the Netflix documentary thing with WhatsApp for Mercedes called The Seat just dropped. I got a chance to watch that. It's about 40 minutes. If you haven't watched that, I want to say I do encourage checking that out. It shows a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of infrastructure things that maybe you're not necessarily aware of. I certainly wasn't before watching it, seeing the process, how it goes. It's kind of an ad for WhatsApp. WhatsApp, feel free to sponsor the pod. But through it all, it does show a lot of who he is, his background, where he comes from as well. Kimi Antonelli's been being brought up to become this racing phenom ever since, a very, very, very young age. And it makes a lot of sense that he is already this fast, producing at such a high level already within just his first 6 races at the Formula One level. Unfortunately, had a rough sprint, though. Wild weather, changing track conditions set the entire grid into a pit stop frenzy. Red Bull released Verstappen too early, hit Antonelli, and basically gave him a drive-through penalty because he had to come back around and then repit again. Finished 11th place in the sprint, but through it all, getting a pole position at this point in a car that's arguably the second fastest on the grid, still massive, massive, massive for the rookie who has never raced in Miami before. And it's going to start bringing up some questions. One of the questions that came to mind for me first as this was all kind of breaking down, as this was all happening, was, is it possible that Kimi Antonelli might get a win this season before George Russell? To answer my own question, probably not. George Russell's been a lot better on race day. He's had really, really, really strong race pace this year. Obviously, he's got a number of podiums this year, one of the most consistent drivers this season. But I don't think Kimi Antonelli getting a win is as far-fetched as maybe I believed it, as maybe you believed it, TLPs. You guys let me know what you think of Kimi Antonelli so far this season down in the comments below, because the kid's been driving absolutely phenomenally, out of his mind. My expectations this year, but maybe he grabs a podium. He might get lucky and find himself on like the third step or something. But grabbing a pole position was not something that I expected at all. He's coming along really, really, really quickly. He's adapting to the car very fast. He's adapting to Formula One life very quickly as well. And he's showing that he has insane one-lap pace already at this point. And this is as bad as he might ever be in Formula One. And the biggest things here that he still needs to learn is just his race pace and his race craft still need some work at the Formula One level. There are obviously things happening in the first turn, first lap against Oscar Piastri, who's been here, done that for a little bit longer, showing him, taking him to school a little bit, right, on that incident. And Kimi feeling like he was maybe pushed off, but reality is, kid, like that's just racing at this level. It's going to be close. It's going to be competitive. And sometimes you got to keep your foot in too, and make sure you're conscientious of those lines. So there are definitely some learning moments still within this weekend, but to grab a pole, to sit in front of a Max Verstappen, to sit in front of the world championship leader in Oscar Piastri, to sit in front of your teammate who's well accomplished and a multiple race winner in George Russell across any of these formats, and then beating him again in qualifying for the race was massive. I mean, Mercedes got a good one. As a Mercedes fan myself, I'm excited. But as a Kimi Antonelli fan, I just can't wait to see what the future holds for this young, very standout talent